In today's video, I'm going to talk about how your negative thought patterns and blockages can actually affect your neurological pathways to lead to the way you think and the belief system that you are currently programmed with. When things happen to us that we don't really like and we are not able to just let it happen, accept it, and let it pass through, those things happen to us, especially if it's someone that is very dear to you, very close to you, like a parent or a family member. You will end up dealing with that thing and suppressing it rather than just letting it happen, pass through, and deal with the bad circumstance as it is, but also not try to ignore the feeling and just allow it to be there and actually deal with the feelings of the ill family member. Most of us are programmed to, when something bad happens, that it's the end of the world and that we need to panic. And the panic is coming from the suppressed programming that happened before this current traumatic event or whatever it is that happened. And when you can start to change the belief system to, this is really bad and I don't like it, but I have the tools to deal with it, you will be a lot more understanding of the situation. And as bad as it is, that it's happening for a reason and there's nothing that you can do to control the circumstance from happening. What it does is, when you let the traumatic events that are happening be suppressed, become a blockage, become something that consumes you, you will also be very susceptible to becoming ill yourself, starting to feel sickness. And when you're living in negative, energetic emotions and thoughts all of the time throughout your life, throughout your day, that's what gives us the diseases. That's what gives us sickness in life. And when you're able to open up the portals to spirituality and allow the greater good to flow in, and that there is a greater life for you to live in positive, peaceful, happiness, loving states for yourself, for the outer world, and for every situation that comes towards you, you're able to heal the old way of living and change the belief system to the person that can deal with all of these issues. And then you no longer become consumed by those negative thoughts that will create the illnesses in you. Most of us that have illnesses in North America come from living in the negative energetic flow states. How many of you have ever had a very close family member become ill very suddenly, but start blaming God and start blaming that life is not fair? Let me know in the comments if you have a family member that's become sick lately. I can have a chat with you about that, and I can relate to that. I'll even share a story about myself. When it comes to this, I had a parent, my mother, roughly 6 or 7 years ago. She started going through these episodes of having a neurological problem. It ended up being frontal lobe dementia, but we went through a lot of trouble with her. She even started like running away from home, and we were going down, and she was going through this aggressive behavior like she didn't know anybody. And she was like being aggressive towards Dad, being aggressive towards me and my brothers. It was really traumatic to experience my mom going through that stuff. But I didn't have the tools back then to be like, whoa, like, and dealing with it rationally. Instead, I identified with all of those moments because that's my mom. I hold that woman so close and dear to me that it started to affect my own personal health, my mental health, and which led to what probably could have had me, not saying had brain cancer or a neurological disease, but if I kept down the road I'm about to tell you, it probably would have led to a neurological disease. So what happened in my own personal life after finding out my mom had dementia and dealing with it, but not actually dealing with it and suppressing it and not allowing those things to just happen and flow through, and knowing that I have the tools to deal with this. It's not a great situation, but I'm going to help my mom as best as I can. I more so was the victim, the old programming, the attachment to my mom needs to be completely healthy 100% of the time, and that it's not supposed to happen to my mom because that's me. And why is life in the universe doing it? Back then, I didn't have an understanding about spirituality and God and believing in the greater good and knowing that things happen, but we have the tools to deal with those things. What started happening after she was diagnosed with that and we dealt with it, found a place to put her in a home full time, I started to have these things in my head, in my scalp, and I thought something was going on. So I thought I was starting to have some type of neurological disease subliminally, subconsciously. Something was stored in there that started making me feel fucked up. So I go to my doctor, my family doctor, physician down home, and I tell him about this, and I tell him I want some sort of scan because I think there's a problem up here. I think I have brain cancer or whatever. Just goes to show you, when something bad happens and we suppress these negative life moments, that it creates false beliefs. And because of my programming, I thought I had something going on with my head, or that I could feel brain activity going on or some weird sensations. I believed I had brain cancer. So what the doctor told me, he said that you don't, and I'm not giving you that scan because your symptoms are not bad enough. So he sent me to go try an eye doctor. Maybe it's just your eyesight that's causing these weird sensations in your scalp, in your head. So I went to the glasses doctor. I got a pair of glasses, and I wore glasses, for 3 or 4 years. But they weren't even required. Like, I only have a very slight deficiency. I think it's in my right eye. But I'm not legally prescribed to need to wear glasses. They had provided me with them because I had the slight deficiency, and to make me feel better, I guess. Because then I had the belief, well, as a long haul driver, I need to have glasses to be able to see, and it's not making me feel those sensations in my scalp and my head anymore. So I had the glasses, and see, the programming made me believe that the glasses was going to solve the issue. The anxiety still continued, but I had to finally deal with that anxiety, that I'm really making myself feel like I had brain cancer because of thinking about it and anxiety. And when I was able to let go of those thoughts and move on from it, I eventually found more peace with life and started to feel like that less and less as time went on. What happened when I first started getting into spirituality and letting go of the negative blocks in the belief systems, I realized that I was wearing the glasses because of a belief that I needed those glasses. And when I took them off and started not wearing them all day, I realized the very first day might have been tricky. Not tricky, but it just felt off because I was wearing glasses all the time because I felt like that was what I needed. It was part of my programming. I let go of the negative blocks to my mom going through that, and it was about 3 years after the fact. She's still living, God love her, and she's dealing with it, but we still get to visit her and see her every week, and my dad doesn't live far from her, gets to check her out of the home every day. And I was able to let go of that and those blockages and belief system. I no longer needed to wear those glasses. I was free to just be I was starting to elevate my inner vibration and my inner frequency to being that of someone who is very spiritual and feeling lots of inner peace and love and wanting to share that with others. And this was before I started on social media and YouTube. But it was probably about a year and a half to 2 years ago where I was still wearing glasses, but then I realized it was a belief system and it was my programming, and that the negative thinking that came from the events of that happening to my mom caused me to think I had a neurological issue, which led to me thinking I needed to wear glasses. But when I let go of all of it, I was able to deal with it and have it dissipate from the body and become the version of myself that you see here and now, that doesn't wear glasses every day, doesn't wear glasses anymore unless the sun is strong and I want to wear sunglasses. Tons of people have healed issues by just changing the belief system in the way that they act and think. People with multiple sclerosis have just being able to surrender to what is and know that the higher good is going to flow in. You're surrendering your blocks to feeling true eternal love and feeling connected and inner peace with a greater power, a greater passion for life. And that individual who was able to surrender that she had gone through this disease and she was about to continue to go down that path, changed her thinking from going down that path to someone who can heal. And when you change the way you act and feel to someone who can heal from that event, you start to turn into the person who heals from that event. And then the physical healing then follows after it. Being connected with something greater and practicing meditation. Have you guys ever done a meditation? And let me know in the comments, what type of meditation do you guys like doing? I personally enjoy doing guided meditations, but I've also liked just putting on meditation music and just going with my own thoughts and thinking in elevated states and visualizing. Like, I used a lot of visualizing for becoming a YouTuber and also a personal trainer, and I talk a lot about that on the channel here. You guys have been here along the way for my journey. I'm just about ready to do the exam. I'll let you guys know how that goes for me. But changing the belief system to you are healthy, you have the tools to deal with it. If attracting a relationship, I can attract that relationship to me. It's not because we need it or want it, it's because you're in an elevated state and you accept what is and you are willing to live in the present, knowing that these traumatic events do not create our characters, and we learn to not identify with them. We learn to deal with them because we love our family members and our close friends and family. When you don't identify with it, you don't create a blockage and you don't create a false belief like I did when I thought I needed the glasses for multiple years, but then realized I'm perfectly fine. I don't have brain cancer and I don't need to wear eyeglasses anymore. Try to change the belief system by doing a couple of meditations. I'll link at the end of the video my inner frame technique meditation. I'm also going to post my elevate your vibrational frequency permanently meditation next week for you guys, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already and smash that like